Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Rotor Talk Live, Season 8, Episode 48, DJI Avata 360, and more coming soon. Hope everyone is doing well. Week 48, my goodness, Episode 48. Wow, we're coming down to the end of the wire here as far as December is concerned. Hope everybody's doing well and got a full house in here already. That's awesome. Let's see who we got. DD Fellows, let's see, Gator Drone, Joni Oki, RJ Redding, Art is here. Let's see who else. Drone Views Media, John Flynn, welcome, John. Gator Drone, welcome. Let's see who else. Canna 7782, Lauren is here. Welcome, Lauren. Hope you're doing well. Let's see. Okay. CT Pyre, welcome, John. Good to see you as well. Johnny, welcome, Johnny. Hope everybody's doing well. Like I said, we're coming up to the end of it, and we're going to have a very special show on the 23rd. You guys, if you've been paying attention and your head hasn't been in the sand, you know what's going to happen on the 23rd. And we're going to get together a good show for you that night. And you know what? We're keeping things positive here. And that's one thing that I want to do through this. And I got a video coming out to show you what I've done to help prepare for next year. So stay tuned for that. That'll be out in the next week or so. I think you guys will really enjoy that and see what I've done and how I've worked pretty hard at it. And it's going to be very interesting. I think you guys will really enjoy it and hope it'll give you guys some ideas as well to help prepare for things. Bill Grace, welcome. Good to see you. Thank you for stopping by. You know, it's important to do that. And I think that's really good. If you guys didn't catch Drone Nation last night, you need to go back and watch it. We had a great episode last night. Ron, Marcus, and myself, we really kind of nailed it last night. And of course, DeMarco, we all of us, we really kind of just really hit it well. And hopefully we'll duplicate that here again tonight when Ron joins me here in just a little bit. One of the first things that I want to talk about is, and this was actually kind of funny. And I'm like, oh, okay. I said, oops, what's going on here? But it said, I said, DJI is ending support for these drones payloads next month. And it happens to be these drones are all Matrice M200, M210, M210 RTK, the Zen Muse XT, Zen Muse XT2, and Lightbridge 2. So, that's just to let you guys know. Things are going to technical support, customer inquiries, official repairs and maintenance, replacement or repair of care components, and firmware compatibility troubleshooting. Okay. Of course, the drones are still going to work. You're just not going to get firmware updates. And if you need to get them repaired, you need to find individual repairmen locally to help you with something like that. So I wanted to make sure to get that out there to let people know. Some people have bought them on their own. So I think that's kind of wise to know that. Brad, welcome. Good to see you tonight. Thank you for stopping by. Yeah, I definitely wanted to get that out. Now, just because Black Friday is quote unquote over and Cyber Monday is quote unquote over, it doesn't mean the sales have stopped. And I went out there today and some of these prices are still there. And I wanted to go ahead. First of all, action cameras are still, coming up as far as some great prices are concerned. And I wanted to go ahead and share that real quick with you guys. Now, the title is Stay Big on Action Camera Black Friday deals, but they're still out there. The GoPro Hero 13s deals are out there. The Osmo Action 5 deals are still out there. Insta360 Ace Pro 2. Now, that was as of this morning when I put the show together. So it may have changed since then, but prices are still good because they still want to get you to purchase these things. And one of the things I can tell you, you cannot go wrong with the Osmo Action 5. That is just an absolutely fantastic action camera. I love it. It's been my favorite that I've had by far from DJI. Works flawlessly. Has great battery life. Can't say enough nice things about it. In fact, I'm taking it with us when we head up to Ohio here in a couple of weeks for our Christmas vacation, so to speak, and celebrate our youngest granddaughter's birthday. So we're going to have a lot of fun with that. And I'm going to hopefully vlog some things. And who knows? They might make an appearance on Build a Drone Reviewer. You never know. So, but no, that's those are some great cameras. All of them are great cameras and great deals. So you definitely still want to go check those out. Now, I kept links in the description from what was on sale, because some of these things may still be on sale as far as drones are concerned. So you definitely want to check on these things, and it changes from day to day. And there was another article up here, and drones to buy as gifts this holiday season. And there are some on there that I do recommend. And we're going to go through this here, because I want to run through this a little bit. Potensic Atom SE. It comes in at $200 on Cyber Monday. I don't know if that's still on sale or not. And of course, the original Neo was on sale for a while. It may still be. I'm not sure on that. The Avata 2, that price I know has gone up. I did check on that. The DJI Mini 4K, that price has gone up from $300. I think it's back up to $390 or so right now. But again, keep an eye on these things, because they do change on a daily basis, and you want to be prepared to take a look out there, because, one of the things that I know, hey, Captain Ray, welcome. One of the things that I do know is from previous history, from previous Black Fridays, and so these prices can fluctuate on a daily basis. So don't wait for an alert. Get out there and check these things on your own, because, overnight they may have done something, and they may have restocked, and they may have decided to drop the price down again. Get out there and check these things. Prices can change. That's all I can say. That'll definitely, that definitely. Jeff, welcome. Good to see you tonight. Thank you for stopping by. Appreciate that. So you definitely want to check these out. And definitely what I have listed down here below, I know it's a Black Friday list, and I'm kind of beating it over again with a carrot stick, but I think you guys know what I'm talking about. Those are some good prices on drones. And again, get out there on a daily basis and check the prices on some of these. Some of them are still really good deals. So go out there and check them. That's all I can really tell you right now at this point. Danny Kennedy, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Okay. What else we got here? Okay. All right. Now, one of the things, I don't know if I shared with you guys or not, but I did pick up an Osmo Nano, the 128K version. And this is going to be part of this video that I'm going to show you of what I got. They did have a firmware update for the Osmo Nano. One of the things I want to tell you, though, is what I got for the Osmo Nano, one of the first accessories, I got a cage for it, and it's a cage that holds both the modules together. And I really like it. It has a button on the top for the shutter and to start recording, and it has access to all the ports on it, and it's really good. I'm really excited about it. I haven't opened it up yet. Of course, I'm going to do an unboxing and first use video on it too, so you guys can go ahead and see it. But I'm excited to use that. I'm going to be using that a lot for B-roll, and I'm going to be doing like a second B-roll when I do my drone flights, so we can have some different views and some things. But this firmware update, just to let you know, there's live view support now too. This means you can preview framing and get your shot lined up before you hit record. Then there's a sweet upgrade to visuals. A new natural wide field of view option helps reduce the kind of fisheye distortion you sometimes see with ultra wide lenses, while still keeping the immersive wide angle feel. That's a great balance. You get all the dramatic wide angle vibe for travel, action, or creative shots, but with more realistic proportions. For context, FOV is basically how much of the scene the lens captures at once. A wider FOV means a broader view, but it can lead to distortion if not handled carefully. Also on the plus side, the firmware adds a horizon correction option inside the EIS electronic image stabilization mode when shooting video. That means if your hand or camera wobbles just a bit, say 15 degrees, the software will automatically level the horizon. That's huge for this handheld footage. EIS, by the way, is tech that smooths out shaky videos via smart digital stabilization rather than heavy mechanical rig right here. Okay. If you haven't been on the fence about picking one up, now's a great time. And there are several on sale. I did see that there's a good price on Amazon on those right now, so you definitely want to check that out. And some eBay sellers have a good price. I actually got mine off of eBay, and there was a good seller out there, so that's something that I definitely recommend. Don't. And one of these things is I've learned on eBay, don't pigeonhole yourself with one seller. For example, some of the sellers, I've used a wide variety of sellers. I've used some for batteries. I've used different ones for propellers. I've used different ones for the actual, drones themselves, and other things, other high-end items. So, be careful. And like I said, always go in there and vet these sellers. One of the big criteria is check to see their number one, their feedback on the item that you're interested in, if they have sold that and have gotten feedback on it. And the other one is, I always go for ones that have at least 100 or more feedbacks, because I think that if it's under 100, I'm really kind of sketchy and leery about that. Even with some good feedback, I still am really kind of leery, because a lot of times you'll see good prices on those, but you kind of shaky. But go in there, check those kind of things out. The other thing to check out, their shipping, to see how fast. And one of the questions I always ask, I'm going out there, I'm asking, is this new OEM in original packaging and sealed in the packaging? And one of the other questions I ask is, how long after purchasing do you ship? Because some take 3, 4 or more days to do that, to actually ship. You want to know that. And also, too, find out, if they say expedited shipping, find out who they use. One of the things I found, especially in South Korea, a lot of their sellers use FedEx, which is fantastic. Okay. Now, I know a large part of the United States right now is experiencing a winter storm, and because of that, it's impacted, shipping. And just to let you know, both UPS and FedEx are affected by that. So just an FYI, if you're waiting for some things, like I am right now, because I've gotten, because we're going to be gone like right before Christmas. So Valerie and I've done all of our Christmas shopping. We're just waiting for it to come in right now. And some of it's delayed because of these weather delays. I mean, there's nothing you can really do about that. So, I mean, that's kind of where we're at. So, yeah, Captain Ray, it really is. It really is. Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, I did too, Ines Guy, and I was pleased with the seller. I was very, very pleased with him. Like I said, I haven't even opened it up yet. I mean, I'm just like, one of those kind of things. So here we have Mr. Ron Brown. How are you, sir?
Hello, Bill. How are you tonight?
I am eager and looking forward to Steeler Nation tonight after we're done with the drone talk.
And I just got a bit of news. The Steelers picked up a new receiver today.
Oh, I did not even know that. Wow.
Minnesota released Adam Thielen. Well, he asked for his release because he wasn't getting playing time. The Steelers grabbed him off waivers today. So
wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So we'll see. Oh, that, it's like everybody's saying, Mike Tomlin said we can still write the ship. And we're going to talk more about that coming up here. So, was talking about the Nano here for a little bit, and there was a firmware update, and it's really helped improve the features on it. And I think a lot of people are excited. And that's going to be my secondary B-roll camera. I'm going to be using that out there in the field when I'm filming. And I think it's going to be good. And what I got, Ron, I got a cage, and it's a dual cage that fits both of the modules in there. And the top one has access to the shutter on the top, and then the sides have access to everything on the side that you need for the USB port.
And Bill, I think that it's important you brought up that firm update, because the big thing it brings is, for a lot of people complain that when you hooked your wireless mics up to it, you didn't get the video feed anymore on the big unit or whatever, right?
Right.
But now you can have mics or mobile mics hooked up to it and still see that video feed. The only thing it still has to do is, once you actually start recording, the video feed goes away on the base module still,
right?
Which is still would complain, but at least you can frame the shot up ahead of time now, and with the mics connected. So I thought that was a big thing, and a lot of people said that, it helps with overheating issues.
One of the things,
it's a solid update, and I kind of wasn't interested in the camera at first, but the more I look at it, hear about it, whatever, the more I'm becoming interested in maybe getting one too, Bill.
I found a good seller. I know it's a good price out on Amazon right now, but I found a good one out on eBay. That's where I got mine from, and it was from someone here in the United States.
You can get it less than the $329 price. That is
no, it wasn't less. It was about the same.
Okay.
Roughly about the same. So, and I was pleased. Shipping was pretty fast on that. Before we get on to our next topic, one of the things that I wanted to tell you that I noticed, like over the weekend, I was trying to update my SD cards for all my drones. Okay. And I found out a slight change, but wow, it's made such a difference. I go to start using all my SanDisk cards, and for some reason, I mean, I was putting them in like the Mavic 4, I was putting in the Mini 5, Air 3S, and they were just not liking them. And that, and what I would get was that the card was too slow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I go out there to DJI's website, okay, and look at the spec sheets on all of them. They don't list SanDisk anymore as a recommended SD card, Ron. It's Lexar and Kensington, okay? Mm-hmm. Apparently because of the speed. I think probably what happened during a firmware update has probably messed with that, because I was trying ones that I had earmarked specifically like for the Air 3S, and it was saying it was too slow now. And I think it was the reason it was too slow. They did a firmware update. So they went out there, DJI went out to their specs page, and they completely updated it. It's Lexar and Kensington are the only ones that they recommend now for most of their drones.
That's something to keep an eye on. I mean, I don't know what car I have, whatever car is on sale or whatever. So I have a mixture of cars, but I'll have to be careful for the ones that have, SanDisks in them.
Yeah, I was trying to do, I had some stuff on there that I wanted to just get rid of. And then I go in there and I try to, and I'm reformatting it. And then it gives me, it says, SD card too slow, upgrade to faster card or something message like that came out. And then another one, I had a SanDisk in there. It didn't even recognize it. I'm like, wow. So I just as an FYI, I wanted to let everybody know that. So, if you've been using SanDisk cards and for some reason they're not working, I think DJI did a firmware update.
Yeah,
one of their firmware updates along the way.
You can repurpose to your older devices, or another way to repurpose them, Bill. Put them in your smart controller. The smart controllers don't seem to care about the speed of the card.
No, they don't. They don't. And that's that. And that I think Ron hit it pretty good right there. So in other words, don't trash these cards by any stretch of the imagination. You can use it in your RC2. And you'll be fine. I mean, or the RC Pro 2, you can stick them in there and they should be fine. That's just a guesstimate on my part, but I think Ron's right in this instance. I think that'll do it. Now, one of the things that I want to get before we hit to the main topic tonight was the Neo 2 actually had a firmware update, and the firmware update adds manual FPV mode, and I don't know. Manual mode plus FPV ready control. With the updated firmware, pilots using DJI goggles N3 or goggles 3 plus the FPV controller 3 can switch to manual mode, essentially bringing joystick-style manual flight into a drone previously positioned as a smart follow camera. This makes Neo 2 more versatile, especially for users who want to pilot and control thrill rather than relying solely on automatic tracking. Bug fixes and performance tweaks alongside the new mode. The update resolves several known issues. DJI hasn't publicly detailed all the fixes, but overall improves stability and responsiveness when using the goggles and controller setup. So, I mean, that's not something that's going to apply to me. But for those of you that it applies to, I mean, this is a good update.
Yeah, I want to explain it, Bill, to somebody that doesn't really know in this world. Right before this update, you can still fly the Neo 2 with the goggles and the motion controller, okay? But now you'll be able to fly it with the goggles and the DJI FPV controller in full manual mode. And this is nothing surprising, Bill, because the Neo 1 had this capability. So they're just playing catch up at this point,
Exactly. Yeah. So, okay, we're going to get to one of the big topics here that we're going to talk about tonight, and Antigravity is going to be releasing their drone it's on the 4th, which will be Thursday. Okay, now just to let you guys know, and just to kind of keep you guys in the loop, there's going to be no show. All right, because we really don't know, and we talked about it last night on Drone Nation. We really don't know what time this is going to be done. It could be 9 o'clock in the morning. It could be 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It could be midnight. We have no idea when.
Most non-DJI tech products don't release on a timeline, the usual timeline of 8 or 9 a.m.
Exactly.
Anytime you look for something else, it doesn't happen.
Exactly. Now, I do want to go over this article that was out on Drone DJ here. and I do want to talk about this for a few minutes here. Okay. If you've been eyeing Insta360's Antigravity A1 drone with bated breath, now's the time to set a reminder. Antigravity has dropped a teaser stamping a firm launch date on its debut drone, December 4th, 2025. The article says at 9 a.m. Eastern time. That means the A1's arrival nearly 2 months earlier than the previously expected January 2026 release. Okay. And then, of course, there's the teaser out here.
And we know why the timeline was moved up, Bill.
Oh, yeah. We know exactly why the timeline is moved up, and that's in the article here. True 8K 360 capture, invisible drone effect, sub 250 gram weight, immersive FPV-like controls, flexible editing and creative freedom, safety, and practicality features. Okay. And one of the things I know we talked about last night, but I do want to bring this up tonight, okay, is for a majority of our audiences who watch our shows, okay, this drone is not, you know, I want to be real careful what I'm saying, but a lot of you will not. What am I saying here? Okay.
But what you're trying to go, Bill, the 360 thing is a niche thing. Even on handheld 360 cameras, it's a very niche product or whatever. And this will be the same kind of niche product. So if you own an Insta360 camera or anybody's 360 camera, you'll buy this and you'll have no learning curve. But if you're never ever having a 360 camera before in your life, you will hit a learning curve on this as far as editing,
you know,
not flying a drone, but editing your video, editing it out to some sort of presentable content will take a little bit of effort if you've never touched the 360 camera before.
That's spot on, Ron. You know, a lot of you have, say, like the Avata 2 goggles, and you're familiar with that and the controllers and everything, and that's going to be great. Okay. And I think people are going to like that about the Antigravity A1. For me, that's not going to work. And I know, Marcus shares the same thing. And I think, a lot of you out there are like that. But I think the big Achilles heel right here is that it is, that learning curve it's a process just to get the footage off it. I mean, it's not like you download your footage off of your drone right now and slap it into Final Cut Pro or DaVinci Resolve or whatever.
You have to round trip it through Insta360 software before it makes it to Resolve and Final Cut. Yep.
And that's Ron's exactly right there. And I think a lot of people are going to go into this, with eyes wide open and thinking, oh, 360, but they don't know, they may be familiar with drones, but not with 360. And I think they're going to get caught behind the 8 ball on this. I mean, it's a great concept. And one of the other things that I wanted to mention too is, there was a lot of good press about this, and it's won a lot of awards, but we really haven't seen more than a minute's worth of footage, Ron. I mean,
all that's based off when the influencers had it for, a couple hours back in August or July or whatever it was.
Exactly. And, they really didn't have time because the software wasn't fully baked. And that's understandable. But I think Antigravity,
all the video is 1080p back then and everything.
Yeah, it wasn't even in 4K. So, and it was very short. It wasn't very elongated. You didn't see, at least 6, 7, 8, 9 minutes worth of video that wasn't out there. So, and I think one of the other things as well is going to be the price point on this. Now, I know I looked at on Best Buy, and it shows for $19.99 out there on Best Buy. And we really have no basis, Ron. I mean, unless Antigravity provides us what
we do a little bit. Some Australian website leaked their prices a couple of days ago by accident. You know how that always happens, and it translates to more like $1,000 in the Australian, whatever their money is. It translates to about $1,000 US, and that was the rumor for a long time. This probably would cost $999 its base kit. So I don't know what the heck Best Buy is doing, whether that's a tariff price or that's just what we call like a retainer price or whatever. If the rest of the world is selling that thing for $999 and Best Buy is carrying it for $19.99, it's going to be the worst selling drone of all time over there.
Yeah,
it's going to be anyways. Bill, who do you know is going to pay $19.99 for a sub 250 gram drone?
There's not a lot of people.
No matter what kind of video it has.
It's a hard sell. Okay. When you looked at how the Mini 5 Pro was priced out, all right, and comparably speaking, a drone that I'll say everybody could fly and easy to edit the footage, all right, and you're talking 1,200, 1,300, maybe more because of tariffs and things, and purchasing it overseas, and I think a lot of people swallowed it because they knew how good the Mini 4 Pro was, and they're willing to take that chance. But this is an unknown drone, okay? As much as we've seen it and seen some footage on it, and Antigravity's talked about it, we really haven't had hands-on experience with the Antigravity A1. So, and remember too, and I think
and Bill, I'll get you off just a second. We know Insta360 is providing the video technology, whatever. So I have no doubt the video is going to be good, up to par, as good as any 360 video. But we don't know anything about the anti-gravity side of it. I mean, how good of a transmission signal is going to have? And now I say that because every time we fly a non-DJI drone, what are we disappointed in? Signal strength, right, Bill?
Signal strength, yeah.
Yeah. So what about signal strength? What about all the little things like that DJI does so well? Signal strength, how does it fly? Does it fly good? Battery life, all that little stuff. We have no idea, because when the reviewers had it back in, influencers had it back in the summer, they only flew it right in front of themselves. They weren't around the late range test. They just flew it right near them, whatever. So all that little stuff, the DJI drones do better than almost anybody else. Will this even be in this? Will this be able to measure up or be in the same ballpark? I don't expect it to exceed DJI, but at least it's got to be somewhat on the same level, right, Bill?
I agree, Ron. I agree. I think, while we know Insta360 is a proven commodity and has been out there for a while.
Camera technology, yes.
Yeah. The Antigravity A1, as far as the drone technology, we don't know. I mean, it looks good. I mean, we've seen how it looks, but we really don't know a lot about it.
We didn't talk about last night how it even has those legs that come down, almost like a Inspire type thing, where it has landing legs that come down. So
landing gear, yep.
And not have the 360 cameras touch the ground, because you've seen enough videos on the replaceable lenses. Hopefully this has it, where if you scratch that 360 lens up, because of the way it does things, that's going to ruin it. You're going to see that thing in all of your shots. You cannot have these lenses scratched up by hitting the ground,
and
rock fly up or anything.
They're probably going to have, my guess is they'll probably have some kind of care or maintenance package that they sell with it, and they'll make a bundle off of that. I think we're going to see that. But the whole reason, and I think we started earlier on this subject, is the whole reason that they've accelerated their timeline, because it was going to be in January, is that DJI's Avata 360 is coming out. And I want to go ahead and spend some time talking about the Avata 360 right now, because, this is chasing anti-gravity, and whereas, it's really Antigravity A1 is a really an unknown commodity. The Avata is not an unknown commodity.
Yeah, okay? And I saw something in the chat asked to have a date for the Avata 360. And I've been reading the last 24 hours. A lot of people have been saying December 18th.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Oh, that's unconfirmed. That's just leaks and rumors, but people have been saying the 18th.
Well, we're going to go out and take a look at this here. And the first thing is, of course, and this is one thing, and I think it's important. I know the article has been out for a couple of days, but I wanted to go ahead and make sure everybody knows this has been approved by the FCC. It's the DJI Avata 360. Yeah. Okay. And they show two models that have been approved for there. And they talk about that.
And that two models could be as simple as one's a firmware combo and one's not, right?
Exactly here. Okay. Rotation cam Avata 360. There's a picture of that here, which is interesting. Now creators won't need to choose between 360 camera and an FPV drone anymore. Avata 360 is both. Shoot an FPV dive, then spin the camera around in post to reframe the entire world. Fly through a tight gap, then reveal the pilot behind you. Capture an FPV chase scene, then turn the footage into VR-ready experience. This is exactly the kind of tool content creators love. Small, extreme, flexible, and capable of producing footage that feels impossible, okay? DJI Avata has been a gateway drug into FPV for thousands of pilots. Original Avata simplified FPV, Avata 2, allowed beginners to perform jaw-dropping flips, rolls, and 180 drifts without extensive training is currently enjoying fantastic Black Friday savings. Okay, the Avata 360 is a different beast, and the FCC approval is only because it means DJI is ready to go. 2 models got certified, hinting at multiple bundles or battery options. And for U.S. pilots, this could be one of the last DJI drone approvals before upcoming regulatory turbulence. Okay, now there's a second article here that I want to go ahead and talk about. And let's bring that up here. Okay, do I have that? Okay, no, I don't have. Okay, all right. Let me go ahead here. Okay, no, I don't have a second article on that, but okay. Just having some things posted by Igor here. Okay. The other thing on the 360 is, as Ron said, December 18th is a possible release date for this. And one of these things that I'm going to say, and we kind of talked about a little bit about it last night, is expect unannounced releases from DJI, meaning, there might be something coming that day. You might get a teaser or an email coming out that day, or see something about it, and it comes out that same day. I'm going to, first of all, the Pocket 4 is going to be one of them, because that is, everybody knows that's imminent. I mean, that's ready to go. It's going to be out here, and it's coming out because they want to get, DJI is trying to get stuff in before December 23rd. And obviously the Avata 360 as well too. Now, one of the things that we talked about last night, and I think this is important, and I think a lot of people need to understand this as well too, is that there may be an option to, it's been rumored, to fly it with the RC2, which would eliminate goggles. And for somebody like me, that would be like, I'm all in on something like that. I mean, that is something that will speak to me. And I know Marcus is the same way too, because, we're the kind of people, we just don't do goggles. That doesn't work for us. As our spatial awareness and things, that doesn't work. So this is a drone that's really going to have a really broad mass appeal, Ron. DJI always, and I really like this, what Marcus has always said. DJI always finds something we didn't know we need until they come out with it, and then we need it. Okay. And this, I think Marcus is spot on with something like that on this, because, we're coming out with an Insta360, or it can be a regular FPV drone, and more than likely be able to be controlled by the RC2. I mean, this is going to hit
control with the RC2. You could probably still shoot the 360 video.
Exactly, Ron. I mean, the sky's wide open with this one. I mean, for the first time, I was like, because I knew, the previous Avatas were goggles, and I'm like, no, it's not going to work. But then this, I'm in, I'm in on something like this, because I mean, that's really appealing.
Well, I mean, they saw how popular the Neo was, the Neo 1, well, Neo 2 also, but Neo 1 was because it could do many different things. So maybe they're applying that to the Avata series now, make the drone very versatile.
That's true. That's very true. Now, while we're on the subject of releases here, okay.
Bill, before you go on, let me do say that the 18th of December, that is a release type day. It's a Thursday. So sometimes we get these release dates and they're Saturdays and Sundays, and we know they're not true, but the 18th could possibly work, be it on a Thursday.
Exactly. Now, I did see, and there were no articles on this, but Jasper Ellens has been quiet, but our friend Igor has not. And the first thing that I want to show you guys is, all right, Igor said there isn't much time left before hunting season, and DJI keeps sending us gifts. DJI Lido X1, DJI Power 1000 Mini, DJI Avata 360, DJI Osmo Pocket 2, and DJI RS5. Now, this was the first picture that I've seen on it, and you can see right here, it's the drone arm, and it has Lido X1 on this. Okay, now that was the first I saw that today. That was the first I've seen that came out yesterday. And here, right here, is the FCC approval for this. Okay, Lido X1, and they already have model number, and it's been, like I said, it's FCC approved. So I mean, that's,
and there's the Power Mini below it.
Exactly. Okay, so you can see this right here. Now, what the rumor is, and what I've read on this, is that this will be replacing the mini
4K.
Mini 4K, which makes a lot of sense. And I know Marcus talked about the Sky Rover X1, which he has, and and more than likely it could very well be Sky Rover's drone just rebranded as DJI. I mean, that's very possible. I mean, because basically, we all know they're one and the same company,
Right.
So,
and maybe that, like, as far as I know, Bill, the Sky Rover drones are only sold in the U.S. So
right.
the lead that would be to sell in the rest of the world.
Right. Now, Igor did post some other things right here. There's the Pocket 4 that we have here, and then there's the 360 Avata FCC approval right there as well, too. So, guys, stay tuned. Keep your ears to the ground for things, because things are happening fast and furious right now.
It's funny. That guy down at the FCC that does these approvals, he sure doesn't read the news, does he? That these drones may be banned and they had the FCC certifications could be revoked. He's just rubber stamping these things, Bill.
Yeah, they're coming out left and right, and it's very, very, very interesting here, as far as the timing is concerned. So, I'm telling you guys, pay attention to everything that's going on. Look on our timelines. If we hear anything, we'll post it out there. We'll let you guys know. I know Ron goes out on X every day. I do as well. I look at Drone DJ, look at Drone XL. I check Igor every day. I check Jasper Ellens every day. I go out there and do my due diligence to see if anything is happening. But like I said, it's going to happen quick. Okay. So, talking about these products, this Mini 1000 Pro, okay, is also on the horizon. Expect all these things will happen probably before December 23rd. So it's going to be a very busy 3 weeks here for DJI. I mean, if you're
limited, keep your budget, keep your money in the pocket until everything gets released, and then make a buying decision.
Yes, exactly. And, realize something. You want to do this, obviously, before December 23rd. I mean, that's just, that's kind of a given here. So I want to go ahead and talk about this as well, too, because this was a great article. And DJI Ban Fact-Check, industry veteran debunks viral myths ahead of December 23rd deadline. And, of course, that was Vic Moss. And it was a great article on Drone XL. And I do want to go ahead and share this, I think it's worthy of our time to go ahead out there and talk about this. Now, one of the things that I want to do, even before I share this article right now, is they had another article out there from Russ from 51 Drones. Now, I really like Russ. I respect him a lot, but he's basically saying he's given up. Okay, the ship is sinking. And that's it. And he still talked about some drones to get if you're still interested in things like that. But I'm not approaching it from that kind of standpoint, Ron. Okay. I'm approaching it from the standpoint, like, what? I'm getting all that I can and getting everything lined up that I can in preparation for this long winter, however long this winter is going to be without DJI. So in terms of batteries, propellers, other things, I'm even backup drones, which I'll talk about in a coming up video as well, too. I'm getting fully prepared. Okay. And I have a plan in place to keep the batteries fresh. I'm going to be every day going out for maybe a 5 to 10 minute flight every day, but it's getting these batteries exercised and getting them up.
No, you're filling up the war chest, as the politicians would say, huh?
Yes, absolutely here. Now, this is, like I said, this is a great article.
And also, not that, not get too down on drones, because we saw there's a senator in, where is it? Arkansas. Back.
Exactly. They're kind of pushing back a little bit because some of the agricultural states realize, there's no competition for an agricultural drone other than DJI. That's it. Okay. As far as I know, and from everything that I've read, and I talked about this last night on Drone Nation, and please go back and watch that, because, one of the things that I do know is that these agricultural drones, I think they're called the Agris, they have precise spraying. They eliminate crop dusters completely. They tell you even the kind of yield you can expect from your crop. I mean, it's incredible the amount of information that these drones get.
But I just wish these politicians would have woke up about a year ago rather than at the last minute here.
Yeah, and rubber, instead of rubber stamping it a year ago, read through this and
basically
say,
not reading anything. Yeah, just sign off, and now they actually read the bills and they think, oh, wait a minute, this isn't good for my constituents. But I wish they'd start reading their bills a year ago.
Exactly. Now, the first thing that Vic Moss says right here, and I kind of want to get this out, because I think this is important for everybody. Your DJI drone won't stop flying on December 23rd. That's the core message on the DJI ban from Vic Moss, president of Drone Service Providers Alliance, a new fact-check video aimed at combating the fear and misinformation spreading through the drone community. And I want to stop right here, Ron, because I'll say this, okay? For the drone reviewers that I know of and that I follow and everything, okay, they have pretty much been spot on with what they've been telling everybody, our audiences, our viewers, okay, in terms of what this is, like Vic said. And we have said from day one, that since we knew this, December 23rd, your drones are still going to fly, okay? They're not going to, if you're up there flying on December 23rd, they're not going to crash and burn, okay? So, I think that's really important.
Yeah, I mean, Vic was addressing the thing. Everywhere you go, people talk about the drones getting bricked. And Vic pushed back on that bricking that, DJI has never mentioned bricking drones or whatever. As far as I know, has any drone ever been bricked or whatever? I mean, just, again, people just talk about this bricking with nothing behind it.
Okay, and what Vic says here, obviously I can't play the clips, but don't use the word ban anymore, Moss says in the video. The more accurate word is restriction. There is no ban, okay? And wow, I mean, Vic was spot on in this. This was, in the talk section 17 on the fiscal year NADA says December 23rd as a deadline for federal security and audit of DJI and Autel. Agencies authorized to conduct this audit include Department of Homeland Security, Department of Defense, Office of Director of National Intelligence, NSA, and FBI. None of these agencies completes the audit by the deadline. DJI and Autel will automatically be added to the FCC's covered list. Here's what that means in practice, okay? And then he says, what happens? New drone models requiring FCC licenses cannot be imported. What does not happen? Your current drone stops working. What happens? Future products blocked from U.S. market. What does not happen? DJI remotely disables your equipment. What happens? New FCC authorizations denied, okay? What does not happen? Existing drones become illegal to fly, okay? Any future models that require a new FCC license will not be granted that license, Moss explains. It will be illegal to import. It'll be illegal to import them. That's important. That's important. Import, okay? The restriction applies to any communications or video surveillance equipment from DJI Autel, their subsidiaries, affiliates, partners, joint ventures, or companies with technology sharing agreements here, okay? The FCC's new powers. This does not affect DJI Autel, anybody right now, because they are not on the FCC covered list, he states. December 23rd, they may be, but that's currently right now not an issue, okay? Even if DJI lands on the covered list, any retroactive revocation would be targeted and specific, not a blanket action affecting every consumer drone, all right? Debunking the DJI ban myths. First of all, fact, lie. That's a lie, 100% lie. The FCC revokes licenses. It will not let your drone take off. It will not forbid your drone from taking off. Why would a company like DJI do something like that to their customer base? Then any other country would fear the same thing. It's going to hurt their sales worldwide, all right? Why the FCC probably won't go nuclear. He gets into some reasons of that. 90+% of all first responder fleets are DJI or Telmos notes. Not even a bureaucrat, nobody in their right mind is going to do something that would shut down first responder fleets. He doesn't mince words about the stakes. It'll cost American lives. No ifs, ands, or buts about it in terms of first responders in being able to respond to that, okay? Talks about some things like about civil disobedience. And the bottom line, should I buy a DJI drone? Absolutely, 100%, he says. Buy a DJI, buy an Autel, buy an Anzu, buy a Spectre. If you can get them, buy them. This video serves as a counterweight to the speculation, fear-mongering, and misinformation that has characterized much of the online conversation about DJI's regulatory challenges. Anybody who says they know exactly what's going on or what's going to happen is speculating, Moss admits. Some of the speculation is educational speculation. I hope I fall into that category here. Drone XL's take. He gets into talking about this. December 23rd is real, but it's a bureaucratic trap, not a security policy. No federal agency has stated the mandated audit despite DJI requesting it over a month ago. The company faces potential market exclusion, not because of evidence, but because Congress wrote a law that didn't assign anyone to actually do the work. Moss points out about first responders is critical. We've documented Florida's $200 million band disaster, where the state-grounded functional public safety drones provided inadequate funding for inferior replacements and never published a security analysis supposedly justified the whole thing. Orlando police testified that DJI had 0 failures in 5 years when approved replacements had failed 5 times in 18 months. And he goes on here, and I'll let you guys finish reading the article, which I do encourage you to do that. But one of the things that I wanted to emphasize right here, all right, is Vic does not have a negative tone to this, Ron, because I've seen some drone reviewers out there have negative tones and negative connotations, and I know a lot of you feel kind of are kind of sour on this, and woe is me kind of things, and I get it and I understand, okay, but what I also understand is this, okay. I'm preparing, as I've said before, and I'm going to keep saying this: prepare for the worst, hope for the best, and that's what we're doing here. We had, and I'll bring a really good example here. Okay, November 30th, the 2025 hurricane season ended officially. Okay, this was the first time in 10 years, Ron, there was not a major hurricane near the state of Florida or in the Gulf of Mexico. Okay, none. Wow. 0. Okay. Wow. And that's rare. That's very rare that happens. Okay. So we dodged a bullet, and we're very thankful for that down here in the state of Florida. All right. One of the other things is, realize too, and I know a lot of people who poo-pooed me about this. Okay. And Vic said that in the article here. Nobody knows what's going to transpire December 23rd. There could be things going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. All right. For example, that somebody is doing the audit and DJI will pass the audit. Okay, that could happen. Or some senators could go in and rewrite the legislation or get something passed and stop this from happening, realizing, the DJI drones are vital to first responders here in the United States.
The president may not sign the bill.
Exactly. The president may also not sign the bill as well. And that gets kicked back to Congress, and they'd have to redo this, which I don't think that they would have the stomach for. All right. And I think the other thing too, is if you realize this as well, is a lot of people have come at me and said, and they brought up it's a great point, is no other country on this earth has banned DJI drones. Nobody. All right. We're the only one that has gone this far. All right. And it's without reason. And we know all the stuff about potential drone companies starting up and Skydio and all that stuff, and a startup that's supposedly funded by Trump's son and all that. And I get it. And I hear you. And I know all that. Okay. Some of it's speculation. Some of it's true. I'm not going to get into that tonight. But what I want to get into is
do a timeline on any of that stuff anyways, even if it does happen.
Exactly. Okay. The other thing is, these senators from these agricultural states are really kind of pushing this right now. And you have to understand, okay, we're talking like Arkansas, Iowa, Nebraska, the whole Midwest. I mean, the Farm Belt, Ohio as well too. They're very dependent upon agricultural drones out there. All right. So things can be done, things can happen. And
these drones are more efficient than those old biplanes, those old crop duster planes.
Exactly, Ron. They can target these fields precisely. They know what the yield is that they can expect from these fields. They're not overspraying these fields. I mean, they have really made this incredible and incredibly better. Okay, and I think we could get a miracle. We could get something at the 11th hour and 59th minute. Okay. But I'm not planning on it.
TikTok got saved at the last minute, Bill.
Exactly. And, one of the things that I've said, Ron, and I've repeated it, till I've lost my voice, is there's a lot of money on the table for DJI here. All right. Now, while DJI doesn't publish its profit because they're a private company per se. Okay. We don't know how much they made, and we don't know how much the North American market is. I can estimate this, and I can say this with a certainty, okay? And I know Lauren has said, they're not, but I have to believe that the United States has to be at least maybe 50% or more of DJI's income around the world, okay? because of how popular the drones are here in the United States. And also, too, this has given rise to a lot of these sellers out on eBay, these mom and pop places that have popped open in Japan and South Korea, where they're making a lot of money, selling them at a little bit of a profit. They're not doing a horrendous price.
Bill, the economy's booming in South Korea right now.
It really is. It really is. So, all in all, Ron, let's look at it for what it is. Okay. And let's prepare for the worst and hope for the best. I mean, that's the best thing.
Yeah. I mean, basically what you boil down to, Bill, if the 23rd comes and the worst happens or whatever, if you already have a bunch of drones, it's really not going to affect you at all, whatever. But if you're somebody that hasn't gotten into drones, if you just discover that you want to fly DJI drones next year, that where the problem could lie. But people like us that have a bunch of drones on the shelf, our DJI drones are not going to get bricked, and they're not going to just not stop working in the next 6 months or whatever.
Exactly. Exactly.
We could probably ride this whole thing out. This whole whatever. I won't use the B word anymore, but this whole whatever he called it out, until either DJI works their way back in somehow or the American drones come in and replace them. Whatever the scenario is, we could probably ride this whole thing out. But the poor guy that hasn't figured out he wants to be the drones yet, next year he could have a tough time, especially if you can't get him from South Korea. Somehow the U.S. figures out how to stop those eBay packages.
Yeah. So
which I don't know how they're going to do.
I don't know how to. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Check every eBay package ever enters the U.S. Customs. They'll have to hire millions more employees.
Probably. That's the way it is. So we're going to wrap up drone talk here, and folks, it's time for Steeler Nation. Okay, I have been just itching here. All right, since Sunday's game to talk about this.
Well, now, Bill, it was started off pretty good at halftime. The Steelers had a 7-3 lead. Mm-hmm. Roger had come back from his hand injury, and things were kind of going well. They held Josh Allen in check, really, and it looked pretty good at halftime, didn't it, Bill?
It did. But the first point that I want to bring up is this, Ron. Okay, 4th and 2. The Steelers need to score, okay? They're not going to kick a field goal. They need to score, okay? 4th and 2, and it's a long 2. It's not a short 2, and it's not a quarterback sneakable one, okay? Right. You got to pass on this play. So what do the Steelers do? They drop a running play, get stuffed immediately, okay? I'm like, okay, all right, this is
especially
gone.
Especially on a day where they weren't having a lot of success on the ground to begin with, right?
No. Their blocking was horrible that day, and sure enough, they didn't make it. And then, conversely speaking, they gave up the most yardage on the ground to an opposing team in the history of Acrisure Stadium. Okay, wow. Buffalo had more yards than any other opposing team had.
Poor Chuck Noll was probably rolling in his grave with that run defense.
No, Art Rooney Sr., Dan Rooney. They're all rolling in their graves over this one, okay?
Because what's the hardest thing to do, Bill, is win a football game when you can't stop the team running. That's very hard job.
They ran at will. I mean, it was like he would get 10, 15 yards at a clip. I mean, it wasn't even contestable.
And Cook's even kind of an undersized back, right? I mean, he's not even a big back.
They couldn't tackle him, Ron. I'm like, come on.
And of course, Josh Allen got 40, 50 yards, whatever. But what was that problem with Josh Allen? He was mouthing off with Hayward. What was going on?
I think he was trash talking to Cam Hayward, and Cam Hayward didn't like it. And Cam Hayward got called for unsportsmanlike conduct on one of them. And Allen just kept yipping at him. I mean, it was.
Yeah, well, I would tell Cam Hayward, if you don't like anything that was going on outfield there, why don't you stop it?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, actually, but not when the whistle's blown. Don't waste time mouthing off to somebody. If you don't like what they're doing out there, you're out in the field. You go stop it, right?
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that I have to say is, all right. I always watch his post-game press conferences, and it was almost like a funeral, listening to somebody at a funeral, Ron. Okay.
But he
his
seemed pretty
tone.
chipper at the halftime when the sideline reporter got him.
Oh, he was okay. You heard, and I'm sure you probably heard and saw the clips. Fire Tomlin chants were going up during the fourth quarter. All right, and a reporter asked him that, and I was waiting for him to like. He's been known to walk off the stage. Okay, during a question like that, his response was, he said, I feel for them. I'm frustrated as well too. All right, that was his answer to the Fire Tomlin stuff out there. He was very demure. He was very, it wasn't. It was very humbling listening to him. But on one hand, but on the other hand, he came out today and he said, "Yeah, we have what we need to right the ship." I'm like, that ain't going to happen. All right. I mean, somebody had posted out there, it looks like the Tomlin Kool-Aid has dried up because you go out to almost every post right now. Well, what was it? Shannon Sharp absolutely blast. You know who Shannon Sharp is, okay?
Who's not afraid. He doesn't mince words sometimes.
Oh, he blasted him. Stephen A. from ESPN. Oh, my gosh. Him too. Yeah. Boom. I mean, all these guys. Colin Cowherd. Oh, my gosh. And just like
he had the pieces or whatever, picking up 35-year-old Adam Thielen, who's going to retire at the end of the season. That's your cure at the wide receiver position.
Well, yeah. And I'm sorry. Okay. I'm going to say this. Aaron Rodgers is a Hall of Fame quarterback. There's no question in my mind. Okay. And he deserves it.
Well, the big question is, Bill, should Aaron Rodgers start that game Sunday?
No. And that's one thing that I told everybody. Okay. He never took a snap from under center because of his hand. Okay. And when he got sacked and fumbled the ball and Buffalo ran that in for the touchdown, he landed right on that wrist. Okay. I watched that replay, and he winced in pain. And everybody saw, he got some lacerations on his nose. That wasn't the big deal. The big deal was the way he landed on that. All right. And I'm like, he turned 42 the other day, yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay. 42. All right. Here we are. We're now how many years post Ben Roethlisberger? Okay. We've gone through, Mason Rudolph. We've gone through
the guy from Seattle,
Kenny Pickett. We've gone through Russell Wilson. We've gone through Justin Fields. Okay, Duck Hodges. Throw him in there too because he was in the mix. They didn't do anything. It's like now I heard rumors, and people have said this that Roethlisberger told Rooney, "Don't go out after another quarterback till after I retire because I don't want to be competing with anybody." All right. Just keep somebody on the roster, in case I get hurt to mop up, kind of thing. That's what I heard. I don't know if that's true or not, but be that as it may. All right, Ron, they are crash diving and it's out of control, and they're playing the Ravens in Baltimore next weekend. Okay,
but all this being said, though, they're tied with the Ravens for first place. If they win that game, they'll be in first place.
Oh yeah, they'll be in first place. I don't have any doubt.
They haven't exactly been playing well lately, too. So I mean, their fans are probably saying the same thing the Steeler fans are. They're not feeling good about that team.
Well, Lamar's playing better. I will say that he's back from his injury. Baltimore's defense is really dicey right now. I mean, that's the big thing. But then again,
maybe they're playing better, but it's not like they're throwing up a bunch of points or whatever in the scoreboard.
The real problem is the Steelers' offense, okay? It's like, Ron, everybody in the NFL knew they needed a second wide receiver, okay? A wide receiver too. Everybody.
What did they do at the trade deadline? What did they do
at the trade line? Nothing, okay? Con is just people wanted to.
There were people available. Somebody pointed out, Jacksonville's doing real good. They're like 8-4 now. Well, they needed another receiver at the trade deadline. Their general manager traded for the guy from the Raiders who used to be in the Patriots, and he's come on and he's been a godsend for Jacksonville. He caught a whole bunch of balls in that last week victory. He could have been had that day or whatever. And this guy's not a superstar, but he's a reliable possession receiver. He catches a lot. He gets out there, gets open, and catches a lot of footballs. He may not run for 1,000,000 yards afterwards, but he can set down, in the zone and get your first down. And that's the Steelers need. They need somebody who can move the chains once in a while, right?
The hallmark of these great general managers, Ron, is they can go out there and get pieces that will fit their team and make them work and make them better. Okay. Well, everybody wanted to crown him, a general manager of the year when he got Minica Fitzpatrick. Okay. And Minica first season he was good. Okay. After that, he took a nosedive with the Steelers. Okay. And had a poor attitude. And here's the other thing. All right. This cockiness from Cam Hayward and everything, as far as Tomlin has zero discipline with the players on that team. Zero. Okay. Because a head coach should be out there in his players' faces and saying, no, you don't do that. Okay. You don't put our team in a bad position.
Right. If Hayward were doing that and Chuck Noll was the coach, that wouldn't have sit too well, huh?
Okay. I'll give you an example. Okay. I watched the end. Ohio State did something they haven't done for a long time. They won in Michigan. Okay. First time since 2019. All right. Now, it's traditional. What will happen is when one beats the other, that team will go to the center of the field and plant their flag. Well, the coach for the Buckeyes, Ryan Day, he told his players, no, you're not going there. I don't want to have any problems. We got a big win today. Let's go to the locker room and celebrate with our fans. Okay. And that's what they did. They didn't do that. Okay. Those guys, he had instilled discipline in them to do that. Okay. Tomlin has no idea what discipline is. None. Zero. Okay. He has a long history of people who have just walked all over him. All right. Throughout his whole time on the Steelers. Okay. Just I don't know what else to say, Ron.
It doesn't. Yeah, it was a rough game, and I saw that their pass defense is falling apart at times before. So their pass defense and their run defense could both be spotty. But all that being said, if Tomlin can get them together and they could somehow beat the Ravens on I guess the game's on Sunday, they could be back in first. I mean, but Bill, you have to admit there is a possibility they could limp into the playoffs.
Well, I'll tell you what, if they limp into the playoffs, it will be another one and done again, okay? But I can tell you this, okay? They don't have an easy schedule, Ron. They have to play Baltimore twice, okay? They still have to play Cleveland again, and I think they play Detroit, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I mean, of course, Cleveland has one of the better defenses, but they're still losing ball games, and they've lost a bunch of games in a row now. So I mean, they're not playing any team that's on the upswing. Every team they're playing has gone through a rough patch.
Yeah. Well, Buffalo have gone through a rough patch too.
Yeah. Buffalo did nothing like playing Pittsburgh to get out of that rough patch, huh?
Yeah. Well, what was amazing, I don't know if you watched the game or not.
Luckily, we got the Eagles. All the NFC East teams weren't playing Sunday afternoon, so that was our big game of the day. We saw the Steelers.
Yeah, I got it here.
I watched 90% of the game.
I got it here in Tampa too, because the Buccaneers weren't playing at that time, so it was on here. And you know what? Over half that stadium was filled with Bills fans, and you know why? Steeler fans sold their tickets to them. All right. Now Buffalo's only about a 4-hour drive from Pittsburgh, so it's not that bad as far as going back and forth.
But can you imagine in the old days, the diehard Steeler fans that wouldn't have happened in the old days, right? That they would.
Oh no, they pack it. They'd pack it out, and if you were an opposing fan, good luck in getting out of there. With your arms and legs intact. I mean, it was opposing fans just didn't go in there back in the day. All right, now. And then a reason a lot of these people are selling them is because they're really dissatisfied with the Steelers, okay, and the way the Steelers are playing right now.
Kind of like the way the protest, yeah.
Yes, it's like, and I said this, and it would never get steam. I said this about the Pirates. I said if you want to get the owner's attention, boycott a game entirely. I mean, nobody go to a game. All right, that would, and I kind of said the same thing for the Steelers, but people would go. I mean, there's nothing really stopping people from doing something like that, but that would really send a message. The big thing is,
so you think if Tomlin would go, that would they could go into rebuild mode where they could maybe develop a young quarterback rather than keep bringing in retreads.
Exactly. That's what they need to do.
People that used to be good, Wilson, Rodgers, they were great quarterbacks in their day, but it's not their day anymore.
Khan needs to go. Okay. Tomlin needs to go.
You like to get a new general manager and new head coach in there,
and gut the staff. Okay, you need to get fresh blood in there completely. Okay.
Well, usually when a head coach goes, almost the whole staff usually goes.
Yeah, and one of the other things that one of my friends, really likes to mention here, and it's really true. Okay, Tomlin does not have a coaching tree at all. Nobody on his staff has gone on to bigger and better things with another team. Nobody. All right. Well, Austin, their defensive coordinator. You know where he came from, don't you?
He said the Bengals, yeah, who don't have a history of good defense. Yeah,
they fired him, and the Steelers got him. I'm like,
oh. Yeah, and you forgot to mention Khan's big mastermind move of the offseason. He trades George Pickens off to the Cowboys, and I think Pickens is now taking the lead in all football in receiving yards now, and they're talking MVP for Pickens. Pickens is one of the the star players of the league now. Just not that many games removed, 11 games, whatever we're at, 12 games removed from being a Steeler. He's now one of the dominant players in the league, and he's got a quarterback that can get him the football, and he's on a quarterback. He's not double or triple covered every time he runs a route.
And what's that other wide receiver? Is Love is his name?
CeeDee Lamb, who's one of the better.
Lamb, yeah, Lamb has really taken him under his wing and has really kind of got him square, using his energy in the right way. Okay,
instead of being a bad attitude, Pickens is happy as could be there. He's hoping they re-sign him, because of course he'll want a lot of money now that he's a top player.
Absolutely, and he deserves it. Okay, I mean the signs were all there with the Steelers,
But you're down a receiver. If Rodgers had him and Metcalf to throw to, it could be a different offense out there, right?
Oh, absolutely. But also, too, take this for as it is the offensive line is still kind of patchwork for the Steelers. They're nothing to write home about.
Yeah, you're right.
They don't really give Rodgers a whole lot of time, which I really kind of feel for him. Ron, I would not want to be 42 years old and be facing some of these defensive linemen.
So he's not going to get the ball down too far or whatever. So he needs people getting open quickly.
Yeah, I mean, getting these 40-plus-year-old quarterbacks is not a solution here. Okay, it's a Band-Aid more than anything else. So, I mean, that's I have nothing else to say on.
Yeah, the Sunday it was the offense. Yeah, the offense didn't do anything, and then the defense got tired. So it was more the offense. Yeah, the offense, they cannot keep going three and out or whatever. How did they score that first touchdown in the first half? Who scored that?
Oh my gosh, I'm trying to remember.
And what was it? Ward?
It was an intercept. It was an intercept. It was a turnover, and they had short field position. Okay. And I think Warren ran it in.
Was that their only offensive TD of the day?
Yep, that was it.
Yeah. Second half, they couldn't get anything going. Well, of course, they hardly had the ball because Buffalo's running down the throat, eating the clock up. So
they up. I mean, it was textbook. Yeah. It really was.
And you saw New England destroyed the Giants on Monday Night Football. So New England and Denver are kind of definitely the top two dogs in the AFC. Who would have believed Bill, would you believe going to season if I told you the New England Patriots and the Denver Broncos would be dominating the AFC?
Well, you know what? I would have said I would have been surprised about Denver, but not about New England because of Mike Vrabel. Okay. I knew him from his playing days. I followed it when I lived in Columbus. He was playing for Ohio State at the time. Mm-hmm. And then, he played for the Steelers for a while. And then I've been kind of following him along when he got a raw deal with the Titans. Okay. And he's doing things his way up in New England. Kraft has given him carte blanche up there. And he's got a great staff of coaches.
And they made a ton of changes, not only draft picks, but they brought in a ton of free agents. I don't mean necessarily superstar free agents, but the kind of free agents that filled spots that they were weak at.
Exactly. And there, it's been a lot of hard work there, and it's really paying off for him. But it doesn't surprise me that Sean Payton's doing well out in Denver.
Oh yeah, okay. I mean, I think Denver was were they a fringe playoff team last year? They were close last year. So
they were close last year.
A whole other notch this year. Their defense is incredible. Their young quarterbacks is making enough plays on offense to get things done. So, but how about the NFC story? With the Eagles and Rams unexpectedly losing last weekend, the Bears have taken the top seed. The
Yep.
Chicago Bears, who haven't been, a very good team in a number of years, they've really turned things around quickly, Bill.
Yep. They sure have. I mean, it's really been
And talk
good.
about running games. You thought the Buffalo ran well. They ran for over 280 yards on the Eagles. They had two backs run for over 100 yards in the same game. That hadn't happened since Walter Payton was in his prime. So
Yeah, that was
that was a
they're
dominating report in Philadelphia, no less.
yeah, they're a force to be reckoned with this year. They really are. Their coach, once again, hiring the right coach for that team has made all the difference in the world. And that's
And
what they
last year
needed.
they had trouble with the offensive line. And 1 year going out and signing free agents and draft picks, they turned a line that was a weak spot last year into a strength in this sort of time, Bill. I mean, it just shows you what can be done when you have a general manager and coach working together to make the right, not only the right draft choices, but to bring the right free agents. They're not necessarily bringing in the highest paid superstar free agents, but they're bringing the free agents they need to fill gaps.
Exactly.
And a lot of times, Bill, it's not all about just a couple of big superstars. It's about getting the right players in the right position and then doing their job.
Exactly, Ron. You nailed it on the head. That's exactly right. So, any closing thoughts before we wrap things up here?
Well, we're just waiting, for Thursday now for the other shoe of the fall. We've been hearing about this anti-gravity drone for so long. It's a little anticlimactic here, Bill. But, I mean, the big thing is what's going on with that pricing? It's no way that drone is going to be sold worldwide for the equivalent of $2,000 or whatever. So,
I agree.
In fact, anybody don't run to Best Buy and pay $2,000 for it, because I guarantee you could in short order you'll be able to buy from our South Korean resellers at what the price really should be.
Exactly.
And not whatever tariff pricing or whatever is going on with that pricing, whether they think they can rip people off because you can't get DJI drones anymore. And Bill, just if the DJI thing does happen 23rd, you cannot buy DJI drones, which you can already. What Vic and them don't. Well, he did mention the video, but they don't emphasize. We can't really buy DJI drones in the U.S. now. We have to buy them on eBay, whatever. But so you'll be left with anti-gravity type drones as your only choice, whatever. You may want to get a drone for do some, whatever drone work or whatever, and all they have is this crazy 360 drone or whatever that's really not going to get the job done, what you need probably.
Yeah, exactly. But no, great show tonight. You guys were great in the chat tonight as well. If you get a chance to, please watch Drone Nation from last night. We really rocked the house last night. I mean, that was a great show. Please go back and watch it. I mean, it really is. It's one of those ones you need to go back and watch it. It's that good. It really is. We really
and hopefully next week's shows will even be better when we actually have some facts to talk about on the anti-gravity. Because what we didn't mention this thing, the thing is usually when we're close to this drone release, we know specs. We know flight times, and we know transmission signals and battery. Like we know a lot of little specs like that. We know none of that here, Bill. We're
none of that. Yeah, exactly right, Ron. Exactly.
Yeah.
So we'll know more next week. So want to thank everybody for stopping by tonight. As always, guys, it's a great day to fly. Take care. Have a great rest of your week.